Hello everyone, welcome to our inaugural show. I'm your host Luis Kinuthia and this is Today we are going to tackle a very interesting topic, one that is very close to my heart. We are going to talk about education. You know, the thing that was introduced to you through some random scribblings with weird shapes, some of which you are taught to call letters and others to call numbers, and that you could make sounds with the letters but not the numbers for some weird reason. And somehow, the letters became the alphabet, and some alphabet derived their sound from themselves, while others derived their sound from hell. I mean, what was wrong with W? It didn't make sense then, it doesn't make sense now. But as a little kid, you had to master all this, otherwise, your papa wouldn't love you. Education, the thing that brought us classics such as wewe ni mujinga kama mama yako, afadhali hiyo pesa ya school fees ningenunua ng'ombe, and of course my personal favorite, empty debits make the loudest. Education, the grueling torture system for humans under 25 that somehow doesn't contravene the Geneva Convention. Education, the thing that convinces us that everyone should know that a red litmus paper turns blue when put into an alkaline solution. Everyone should know this, including DJ Shiti. Everyone. Education, the thing that makes you know the difference between this Noah and that Noah, and if you don't know the difference, it's only fair that ask for your school fees back. Wouldn't you agree?
Very nice, very nice.
All these are official definitions, by the way. Go look them up. We go to school to get educated, get jobs, make money. But that's not always the case.
The rate of unemployment in Kenya that is among the highest in the world. And as Sharon Momanyi reports, the situation is now forcing many young people to use desperate means to get gainful employment.
Another day here at Limuru Road in Nairobi. It all looks normal until you spot this lady pacing up and down the busy road. Raquel Kaoka is hoping to catch the attention of any potential employer or someone who knows someone who can link her to a job. Kaoka embodies a face of desperation that is fast becoming synonymous with young, educated, jobless youths.
Like, let me say, for the first day, actually, it was a bit difficult for me because I felt, what will people talk about me? Maybe there's some who will discourage me. And then this, again, another thing, like carrying that placard the whole day, no lunch, even there was even no water. So the sun was a bit, it was very hot. But actually, I thank God I went through it.
Kenya, the biggest economy in East Africa, ironically has the largest number of unemployed youths in the region. The report indicates that Kenya's rate of unemployment is up to 3 times that of neighboring Uganda and Tanzania.
According to the last census, 40% of Kenyan youths are unemployed. We won't even get to the number that are underemployed. Do you know what this means? Let me put this into perspective. Of all people who watch KRG The Dawn, 4 of them are jobless. As the job market becomes more and more competitive, students are always advised to choose high marketable courses. A simple Google search on high marketable courses gave me these results. It's interesting to see how marketing is first on the list of high marketable courses. They sure do know how to market themselves. Also, can we talk about how nurses and dentists made it to the Google list and not, I don't know, doctors? My guess is the internet must be horrible in Cuba. Go check it out. Did you see that doctors are facing harsh living conditions in the Caribbean? What could this be? My guess is that it could be housing, could be crime, or even worse, it could be reggae. Unqualified physicians aside, today I want to narrow down the focus to a mysterious yet common name amongst marketable courses in Kenya and arguably in the world. A niche field that brought you the likes of Babu Owino.
We are telling Matiang'i
Yes.
that our demonstration will be every day.
Yes.
And it will be so violent.
Yes.
That nobody
Yes.
will dare
Yes.
take Kenya Science Comrades power.
Power.
Comrades Ria.
Ria.
Comrades Ra.
Ra.
Crazy Kena.
That.
Sasa kuna kitu ilikuwa inanisumbua. Nilikuwa nataka niwache shule nianze kukua
comedian.
Nilikuwa nataka niwache shule nianze kuwa comedian.
Ati wache shule?
Nianze kuchekesha watu.
Yaani hii pesa yote nimelipa na hiyo mpango yote niko nayo ati wache shule ati ufanye nini?
Kuchekesha watu.
My friend, utawacha mchezo.
Sauti Sol's Fancy Fingers.
Okay, so if I could just take you through that. So you start just playing the same melody that he's singing. Then did in the beginning is just this riff. All right, go.
Tanya from Tahidi High.
What can I do? I can't fight him. Excuse me. We can't fight these boys.
The cute chick from Elani.
Jana usiku niliota ndoto Afrika nzima uliwaka moto. Oh yeah, jua ilinyesha mvua nayo ikawaka, manabii walitafsiri siku hina sio siri.
And our beloved governor.
Your Excellency President William Ruto, on all protocols observed, fellow content creators. Your Excellency, I've realized today that you and I have had an income stream that we've not developed. And these people are not our friends, Alex and Agnes and Charles. I joined TikTok a few months ago, and when I joined, I had 400,000 followers in a weekend.
Sorry, I'm getting a message from my director. You are saying the guy did not graduate. He was just fooling around, confusing women. Okay. With what? With his dimples. Then how did he become governor? If I value my life, I should not ask questions. Okay, fair enough. Thank you for the update. Shocking as it may, these guys also share a common thing with your favorite televangelist, Apostle Tumishi Ng'ang'a. Can you guess what that is? Hints. It involves going beyond standard 1 in primary school. Also the fact that they are all humans, I guess. By now you've probably figured that I'm talking about actuarial science. Despite Actuarial being in the marketable charts for a while, very little is known about it. So today, let's dive in, break it down, partly for you, my audience, and partly so that my mom can finally stop asking me the difference between Actuarial and architecture. Tough job, but I'll try. According to Morgan State University, actuarial science is the discipline that applies mathematical and statistical methods to the systematic observation of natural events to assess the risk of events occurring and help formulate policies that minimize this risk, its financial impact on the companies and its clients. I know. That's quite a mouthful. Let's hear a simpler definition. Thank you, Apostle. In most universities in Kenya, for you to study actuarial science in the regular government-sponsored program, you must have scored at least an A- and a cluster point of at least 44 to 44 out of 48 points. In top universities like the University of Nairobi, the stakes could be as high as an A-plane and a cluster point of as high as 47 or even 48 points out of 48. This places Actuarial neck to neck with other high-ranking courses such as medicine, engineering, and even rocket science. My director is telling me that that last one is not offered in Kenya. Okay, my bad. Sorry? You're saying the closest thing we have to rocket science is rock science. Okay. Inafanywa wapi? Maseno University. Okay, thank you. So apparently, its official name is Kitsimikai, the art of throwing stones with IT. With our best brains going to study this course, you wouldn't expect to see this kind of stories.
We report on a heartbreaking story of how years of hard work, topped with excellent academic grades, are all in vain for a young man who has gone through some of the country's best schools. Take a listen. Kelvin Ochieng scored straight A's at the famous Maranda High School before proceeding to the University of Nairobi, where he did, listen to this, actuarial science, and graduated with, yes, first-class honors. But as Citizen Television's investigative reporter Purity Mwambia reports, this was not enough for Kelvin Ochieng, who ended up homeless in the streets of the capital. Here is first-class betrayal with Purity Mwambia.
My name is Kevin Ochieng. This is Madare slums in Kosovo. This is where I'm hosted by my friend, and I've been staying here with him.
The heavy stench of raw sewage welcomes us. Kosovo, in Nairobi's Mathare slums.
In Madare, I have to endure the smell in the slums. I have to endure the filthy state. The smell remains there. There are no proper latrines. And living here, it's degrading.
In this valley, you've got to watch your back. It is one of the most dangerous slums in Nairobi. Armed men live here.
You can walk here at night and you're beaten up. So holding a phone, myself having a smartphone is a problem.
There is more.
I found some dude, he was sleeping on the grass there that particular day. Niuliza, bro, mbona unalala saa hizi? Akaniambia akona hizo shida za jobo zimefanya naishi hapo. Akaniambia ni graduate. Hii kitu inakaa hilarious. Yaani saa that one piqued my interest. Wacha nataka tu kusikia, wacha katambe, wacha tusikie hii story, wacha tu nisikie uongo. Nikamwambia bro, unasema ni kweli umegraduate? Unajua ni strange yani, umegraduate alafu unalala kwa street. Kani true, hebu tuende cyber. Sasa tukaenda cyber ingine iko tu hapo around. Akanifungulia Gmail yake. Jo umsa amepiga S kuanzia juu hadi chini. Na zina madoadoa ati. Hizo za A-. Hakuna hata moja.
And he is not the only one. Here is Kenneth from Karatina University, who also graduated with the first class honors but couldn't find a job and ended up as a boda rider as of the time of this article. Here's Stephen from Moi University, who had to become a butcher just to survive. A deeper study into the actuarial industry would reveal that actuarial science has probably the lowest right job conversion ratio in the country. Right job here referring to getting a job where you actually utilize the skills that you are trained on in school. If this degree is as marketable as most claim, why do we read such horrendous stories in the media? Something must be wrong somewhere. Walk with me here. Let's take a holistic view of the actuarial career journey, where the gaps are, and how we can address them to prevent such horrendous stories in the future. At this point, I should probably mention that I am an actuary myself. And the journey we are going to look at is one which I and 1,000 others have walked through, especially those in Kenya or Africa. So, the first thing you do when you receive that acceptance letter to study actuarial in the university is, well, for me, was to Google an actuary's salary. Well, that's right after posting on social media and tagging all your primary and high school bullies and all those girls who rejected you because you're a dog. But the thing is, Googling an actuary's salary, especially while in Africa, is like Googling your symptoms when you feel sick. Everything is high and has, to a great degree of certainty, been written by a white person. Whatever you see or read is not meant for you. Do not act upon it. And lastly, nothing could be further from reality. There's a big mismatch between international salary rates and Kenyan, or by extension, African. Once you get into the university, you start sweating your calculus away. And as this website puts it, you're really gonna sweat it. But the fundamental thing that is often ignored or not mentioned enough to you is the importance of pursuing international professional qualifications while studying for your bachelor's. You see, once you graduate and start looking for a job, no one is going to employ you in an actuarial capacity, even with a first-class honors, if you're not already pursuing the professional qualification. The qualification involves reading and sitting for about 13 exams. 13 exams, each harder than the previous. 13. That's 12 labors of Hercules plus a bonus. Look, the only way I am going through 13 hurdles of torture is if and only if, on the other side of the last hurdle, I will fall into the open arms of the goddess that is Lupita Nyong'o. So, after the exams, the most common one in Kenya being the Institute and Faculty of Actuaries, IFOA, based in the UK, you become a fellow of the particular professional or examining body. This is equivalent to being knighted by the king. It's a big thing. By the way, I was knighted once. Oh yeah. In the royal suburbs of Nairobi, aka Roysambu. But this one was special. A machete gently caressing your neck. A special hug, also known as the chokehold. It wasn't that bad. After you let go of your earthly belongings, they let you walk. And as long as you don't look behind, they tell you, you will be fine. Plus, you don't want to risk turning into a pill of salt. I mean, Magadi is just here, next to Rongai. These papers are so vital for you to pursue an actuarial path that in some cases, just to get an entry-level job or even an internship, you need to have cleared at least half of the papers. So, you may ask, why not sit for the papers then? Well, enter cost. One paper may set you back approximately 30K plus an initial registration fee of similar amounts. Also, it is not a guarantee that you'll pass all the 13 papers with the first attempts. One organization in the UK which helps students study for exams in the IFOA places the IFOA pass rate at an average of 48% and in some papers as low as 35%. Extracting the Kenya data alone, the odds in some papers could be as low as 20%. To put this into perspective, according to Brandon Gale Marketing, whoever that is, the odds of you marrying your high school sweetheart are at 25%. Basically, these two are more likely to end up together than you passing an actuarial paper. Think about it. And let's face it, there are no better places to pull up statistics than mendivorce.com, right? We all go there for the latest statistics, don't we? Yeah? Basically, it's not a walk in the park passing these papers. This is even with long nights of studying alongside your degree, or if you're lucky enough to have a job, alongside your 9 to 5. The other factor that catches you by surprise is the quality of education offered in Kenyan universities. While most learning programs have been around for many years and produce scholars like professors who teach in these universities, actuarial science is relatively new in Kenya. Those who qualify through the professional route are immediately absorbed by the corporate world, leaving academia with little to work with. As a result, the teaching faculty is often comprised of recent graduates who are either pursuing masters or recently enrolled onto PhD, most of whom have never practiced. It is basically like learning how to swim. You jump into the pool, and then you learn that your lifeguard just learned how to swim last week on YouTube. Before 2013, only major universities and Maseno had actuarial science as part of their degree offering. Then, in 2013, enter Kenya's third president and African mother giving you the last warning in front of the guests, Moi Kibaki. Shortly before retiring, Kibaki gave service charter to 15 mid-level colleges, promoting them to become fully fledged universities, most of whom jumped into the opportunity to offer the hottest degree program at the time, actuarial science. This led to an overwhelming increase in actuarial students in universities, most of which did not have enough teaching resources. This is how the numbers grew in one of the recently chartered universities in 2013. Look at that sharp spike in 2013, a few months after the charter. Look, the only other thing that's growing that fast is Nyako's popularity on TikTok. Now, if you don't know who Nyako is, first of all, I envy your life. Secondly, Nyako is basically the female version of Andrew Kibe. Basically, Kibe with some little attitude on top. So as a result, most classes were taught by lecturers who didn't have a background in actuarial and were heavily borrowed from statistics and mathematics. My alma mater was one of those newly chartered universities back in 2013. And for 3 years, we were forced to learn in a part coffee factory, part tuition block, where the university had rented additional space. This makeshift campus often had the occasional stench of rotting coffee husks coming from behind the lecture hall. Now, I'm legally obligated to say that this is no longer the case since the completion of their ultra-modern tuition block, whatever that means. Here's Kibaki's successor, Uhuru Kenyatta, again, just before retirement, offering service charter to some interesting names. See if you can identify any.
I, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, President and Commander-in-Chief of the Defense Forces of the Republic of Kenya, hereby grant the charters annexed hereto on this second day of August in the year of our Lord 2022 to 1 Kaimosi Friends University in Vihiga County. Hongera sana. 2 to Alupe University in Busia County. 3 to Tomboya University in Homa Bay County. 4, Tharaka University in Tharaka Nithi County. Hongera. 5, to Lukenya University in Makueni County. 6, to Zetech University in Kiambu County. 7, to Kireri Women's University of Science and Technology in Nairobi County, Hongera. And 8, last but not least, to the East African University in Kajiado County.
Someone you know will be called into this next. While these universities expand access to higher education, questions have been raised about whether they have enough resources and how that impacts the quality of the education they offer. In developed countries where quality is not compromised, students upon completing their undergraduate are exempted from some of these professional exams, basically making their journey easier and faster. When they proceed to masters, they get even more exemptions, which offers them an upper hand in employment while reducing the burden of completing these professional exams. There is no one university in Kenya that has been accredited to give such exemptions with good reasons. If we have learned anything today, is the fact that majority of us are a bunch of half-baked wannabe actuaries with nothing but rumors about what the profession is all about. Lack of quality education makes it difficult for corporate to trust our actuarial students who have nothing but a degree to their name. This is even with a first-class honors. Frankly, one could argue that it is better to skip university altogether and just study for professional papers straight after high school. Or study a different course like mathematics or something related while taking actuarial qualification papers. A number of actuaries in Kenya have been known to do this, including the likes of Moses Mutuli. The saddest part to all this is that students only become aware of this information either late into their undergrad or upon completion of their university education. This is what has led to the heartbreaking stories we saw earlier. Students think all they have to do is get good grades in university and everything will just work magic, as they were promised in first year by most of their professors. Organizations which recognize the actuarial expertise and have an actuarial department are very few, and as we have seen today, the bar of getting in is quite high. These organizations include the likes of insurance companies, pensions, the big four consulting companies, and a few banks, mostly. As a result, 90% of people who enter an actuarial class in first year never end up working in an actuarial department. 90%. This is like learning that 90% of our military have never used a gun or ever been in a battlefield. I mean, how on earth are they supposed to protect us from the biggest threat to our country right now, commonly known as Americs? As a coping mechanism, those who are either not interested or cannot afford the professional path end up pivoting onto other careers, the most popular ones in recent times being data science, statistics, tech, among others. For some, the dream of becoming an actuary lives on. Many remain underemployed and never really get to utilize their brains to their full potential.
It happened. I had gone home before, found back home there was absolute poverty, and they all believed that I would be the one to bring them out of this. They all believed that Kevin has gone to university and is the star of this family. I would bring my grandmother out of poverty. And that belief haunted me because I believed that I should be responsible for them. This frustration was weighing up on me until I imagined suicide.
Given all these misgivings, one might ask, is actuarial still worth pursuing anymore? Well, the answer is yes, but only with the understanding that a typical traditional actuarial path with the intention of becoming a fellow will involve the professional qualification alongside your degree. For those not interested in pursuing the professional path, there are still other areas where your skill can be utilized. At the beginning of the show, we saw actuaries who ended up becoming entertainers and politicians. It doesn't end there. My golden rule is, if there's a tough problem to solve, call an actuary. It doesn't matter in which industry. There are efforts being made by the industry to raise the quality of actuarial education. Take the Actuarial Society of Kenya, the equivalent of the Law Society of Kenya, LSK for our learned friends, which is working around the clock to lobby the government through the Commission of University Education to standardize and monitor the quality of education, specifically actuarial education in our universities and how it is taught, with the hope that in the near future we shall become exemption worthy, or better still, come up with our own exams like South Africa and India have done. In addition, TASC launched the Actuarial Academy of East Africa to mentor aspiring actuaries by exposing them to information, what the industry expects of them, while matchmaking them with professionals they look up to in the industry. It is like basically Tinder for actuaries without the intimacy. The Insurance Regulatory Authority runs a sponsorship program where every year they offer fully paid scholarship to a few top actuarial graduates to study Master of Science degree in actuarial management in the UK, which comes with its own exemptions for professional papers, specifically the I4 ones. These efforts are a step in the right direction, but they are obviously not enough and can take time to effect change. Yet, universities continue to enroll more and more students into this program. Those universities Uhuru gave charter to, some of them have already started offering actuarial. We need to find ways to effect change faster through more mentorship so that students and parents can know exactly what they are getting into, more scholarships, more diversification into non-traditional paths. And if everything fails, we can always do what our president taught us to do: turn into prayer.
Our model, which art in Norway, guessing, be thy name. Thy assumptions come. Thy will be done in future as it was in the past. Give us this day our premium rates, and forgive us for our lousy estimates, as we forgive those who supply us with crappy data. Lead us not into insolvencies, and deliver us from our auditors. For thine is the name, div, and value, forever and ever. Amen.